Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for Tuesday, April 2nd to April 8th. And we have another big week ahead of us as we are indeed still in the midst of our eclipse portal. We are traveling through the wormhole between eclipses. That is to say that the first full moon lunar eclipse was on March 25th. That was the lunar eclipse in Libra. We are in the midst of the transition to our new moon. We have a waning moon. We move from the full moon to the new moon in 2 weeks. And we have the new moon in Aries on April 8th. And that is the solar eclipse. And so we'll be talking about that April 8th eclipse a little later in the program, because we do have a few things happening before we even get there. Traveling through this wormhole. We just had Mercury station retrograde also. And so this is a big buzz. People that don't even really follow astrology very closely usually catch wind of the Mercury retrogrades because they get a bad rap for slowing everything down. And indeed, they can do that. The retrograde times are if you actually look up at the planet in the sky, Mercury, we don't have it in our night sky here over the Pacific West Coast right now, but folks that do can actually watch the planet move backward through the sky, and then it'll take 3 weeks to do that, and then it'll station again, which means it just stops, and then it'll start moving forward again after those 3 weeks. So during this next 3 weeks, you'll feel and see a lot of slowing in transportation, getting from place to place. Mercury represents our mind, mostly our mental state and our mental capacity. And when Mercury's in retrograde, it can slow the mind and limit the capacity. We can feel like we can only handle so much at one time in our head. Mercury being the planet of transportation also. So this could be where we see car troubles, or just like the spotlight is on transportation and transportation issues. This is a time when we could also just take more time getting from place to place. It just seems like there's always traffic everywhere we go, or something that we need to run back in the house for at the last second. So just, getting from place to place slows down just because we tend to come upon little incidences that slow us down. And Mercury retrograde, as with any, is a time when that planet in ancient times was believed to have gone into the underworld and be hanging out with the gods of the underworld. And so Mercury is the messenger of the gods. Mercury is going to be surfacing messages during retrograde from the underworld and from the gods of the underworld. And so, that was an ancient belief. And then now you take this information and say, okay, so during this time, we are going to have a backwards trajectory, which means we're going to be dealing with the past, things that have already happened. We tend to go back to themes that we covered, and Mercury entered the shadow about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. And so we kind of got the first pass of seeing what was this Mercury retrograde going to have us turn around and take care of. So now is that time. We are actually still in that time where Mercury is just sitting very still. And so it can feel very fuzzy. It can feel very exhausting. Mercury just stationing with any planet sitting still. It's actually the most potent time that we feel that planet. So we can really feel our mental state right now. And I've actually heard a lot of people, and this includes myself, just people saying that they have headaches. I've been hearing that the last couple of days, headaches. This is also a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Aries. So of course we want to look and see where this is going to be, where we're going to go back and take care of things that have already happened, or maybe redo things or review things, or, reconfigure something is within this sign of Aries. And this is going to be from 27 back to about, I think it covers about 15 degrees in a retrograde. So about 12 degrees, maybe between 27 and 12 degrees of Aries, somewhere in there. That's the ground we're going to cover. And so look in your birth chart. What house is this? What planets and points do you have there? What are we going to be also putting into this little retrograde sandwich with Mercury? So hang in there. The Aries, sign of Aries actually rules the head and the face. And so this retrograde always works within the sign, within the themes of that sign. So this could be a theme over the next few weeks. Just headaches and heaviness, even injuries to the face, or like knocking your head on things. We're all going to be very aware of our heads over the next few weeks with Mercury, the planet of the mind, retrograding in the sign of Aries that rules the head and the face. So that is going to be an ongoing story. Of course, we have the next few weeks to work with that. So we'll be talking more as we work with that energy. But it's interesting right now because we are in Aries season, and Aries is a fire sign and is very much a go-getter. We want to go and do things and get things and make things happen. Aries is ruled by the planet of Mars, and Mars is the go-getter planet. Mars is the warrior spirit. Mars decides to do something and makes it happen. It's almost a shoot first, ask questions later type of energy. And so as we move through Aries season, we could feel very compelled to take action on things. Also, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and always wants everything to be very new. People that have a lot of Aries energy are constantly starting new things and really love new energy, new flavors, new senses, new projects. So with that Mars energy being so strong, that go-getter energy, this is a great time to do that, to start those projects. You have literally the energy of the solar system and the universe working for you right now. The sun traveling through Aries. We have the north node of destiny in Aries. So if something is supposed to take place and supposed to happen, it is destined and fated to be in your life. It is bound to become part of your everyday focus right now. The sun is our focus. That's where we live. That's where the ego is. That's where the individual, that's where we filter everything through on our daily basis. And the sun is only just 2 degrees away from the north node of destiny. So we are in that eclipse portal where fated events are going to happen. They're going to be forced in. Aries working with that forceful Mars energy. It could be like literally something knocks us in the head and it's like, whoa. That's the new thing. That's the new fated thing. That's destiny right there knocking on your door. And so it's a really important time to stay aware of people that you meet, new things that are starting, new energies that are forming inside of yourself, changes that are taking place. Yesterday, you felt one way. Today, you feel a completely new way. This is total typical Aries season and eclipse season energy. And this is packed in together right now. It's like a double, triple time right now for destiny, fate, our intuition, very, very strong. We are still working with with a lot of Pisces energy right now also. Pisces actually has a stellium in it right now. So Aries very strong, but Pisces, the 12th sign of the zodiac, still holding a lot of planetary energy and influence. Mars, Saturn, Venus, and Neptune, all in the sign of Pisces, still closing things up, living within that mystical state, that all-knowing, all-intuitive state that Pisces is. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and so encompasses the energy of all the previous 11 signs within it. And so Pisces, making some finishing touches. We could still be feeling a lot of emotional grief over some endings that are taking place. And so there's this juxtapose right now between fire, Aries, and water, Pisces. And so it can feel very hot and cold right now. Like I'm wet and then I'm dry. And so it's like very cut and dry right now. And it's tough to blend fire and water energy. And so the 12th sign of the zodiac always leads to the first sign of the zodiac. But in those endings, there is always emotion, and water signs encompass that. So if you're still feeling a lot of emotion, things are still building up and you're needing to run and cry for a few minutes to let that water out, to dry up some of that heat. If you're feeling too hot on the outside, too cold on the inside, we could try and balance those things out by allowing our mental, our emotional, our physical and spiritual states to come in some type of balance. So that's, of course, depending on Pisces and Aries energy, where that is in your birth chart, how you're going to be working with that. And that's very strong. We're going to be feeling this still through the first couple weeks of April. And then toward the last of April, we're going to feel the shift into Taurus season. And then both Venus and Mars are going to shift signs and be moving really quickly. So even though Mercury is going to be hunkering down in Aries, there's going to be a lot of movement of the personal planets and a lot of new beginnings coming up come April and the 1st of May also. And actually, Venus is going to be moving out of the sign of Pisces this week. She moves into Aries on April 5th. And so she's very comfortable in Pisces. She really likes it there. She's exalted there. It's a beautiful place for her. She's kind of just resting in that big pool of all the beautiful things that our intuition has opened up for us. And then she moves into Aries. And so she shifts some more of that energy into the first sign, and she becomes more interested in new beginnings and in taking steps forward. And she creates a little more of a stellium in Aries, raising everyone's confidence and our bravery levels, and the feminine, and of which is represented by the planet of Venus. That will be taking a step up, also becoming confident, becoming brave, and taking some steps forward. So, as we move into April 8th, we just need to definitely remember that all of the things that we have learned in Pisces season, that reflection, that integration, that using our intuition to the best of our abilities, we are going to have to hold on to that as we move into this April 8th eclipse. Is going to be very, very intense. In fact, the energy that's building throughout April is going to be capped by this big Jupiter-Uranus conjunction on the 21st of April. And it's because of this big conjunction that's coming up that is making this eclipse season so intense. Jupiter and Uranus. Jupiter's at 18 degrees of Taurus, Uranus at 21 degrees. They're going to make a conjunction on the 21st of April, and we are just feeling this electric buildup. This is involving the nervous system, and this is involving our Jupiter, our desire to open things up in our life. Jupiter is holds all this knowledge and wisdom of the universe and is also a sign of good luck. Jupiter leaves gifts everywhere that they go. Uranus is a planet of surprise and awakening and electricity and lightning strikes. And I was really feeling this energy as I was driving in to do this show today, because I was looking at the clouds outside and they were the first signs of some spring storms. I was like, wow, those are some bubbly looking clouds out there. And this is feeling very Jupiter, Uranus, like there could be just like lightning strikes at any time. So this energy, very, very big. And as we move into April 8th, we have, of course, the retrograded Mercury, which is slowing things down, going into this new moon. We are going to have to find a way to pull ourselves out of the intensity of Aries fire and have this new beginning. The new moon in Aries is going to be very, very important because of all of the messaging that's coming through from Mercury in retrograde. We need to find time to slow down around this. Of course, it's a big deal in the United States where I live. So it's like got all this hype around it, but it's a new moon. And so that it means that it's more of an internal feeling. So if you are going to be on the West Coast and you're not going to see it, we're still tapping into it. Being in a nice meditative state is going to be really good. Pluto is slowing down to station retrograde in the beginning of May. And so we have planets starting to slow down. And this is really good because we need this time. Also, people have been telling me how busy, April is for them. And I feel that in my life too. And I see it around me, just everybody kind of burning the candle at both ends. And so this could be the vibe of all of April. We are going to definitely be feeling some shifts toward the end of the month, but a huge buildup. And this eclipse cycle bringing in a lot of excitement around that. Also, Chiron, the wounded healer, is very close in to this eclipse cycle. So this has a lot to do with healing and also healing these immortal wounds, these things that we've struggled with our whole life that we just feel like we never get any headway on. These are things that we are integrating into these lessons that we're learning also. So big opportunities for healing and big opportunities for allowing allowing the universe to do as it does. This Jupiter-Uranus conjunction going to be bringing in a huge lightning strike of good luck for everyone, especially people who have Taurus energy, Taurus planets, anything between 15 and 25 degrees of Taurus. Like your April is going to end really incredibly one way or another. It's going to be a fated thing that is going to be good for you in the future. So if we can kind of trust in these ideals that have proven over thousands and thousands of years to bring in these energies, we can work with that. And when we can apply a certain amount of trust to the goodness that the universe is going to bring us and not be too finicky or picky about the details, because the details are the things that we can't ever really predict. But what we can predict is that what's going to happen is going to be destined. It's going to be fated. And even if it's painful and it's a knock on the head during Aries season, that later on it's going to bring some type of light in that is going to be very beautiful for you. So I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you have a really good week. Stay grounded, stay in the Pisces energy, work towards the soft parts of your chart, play into your moon. Wherever your moon is in your chart, do your moon through this solar eclipse, and you will fare well. So I will talk to you again very soon. Thank you. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.